Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. So in today's review we're going to be checking out Code Vein. Now I know it's a bit late as per usual, a few days after release, but I really needed to check this game out properly. I've now completed the game multiple times, got multiple endings, and pretty much explored everything. If you're following my guides channel, we've already pretty much uploaded and finished the 100% exploration walkthrough, so I think I'm ready to give out my personal opinion. Now I know a lot of people hate this, but I'm just going to go ahead and say my opinion is that this is a Souls-like game. It's more specifically like an anime Dark Souls. It obviously does have a lot of differences, a lot of mechanics that are in the Dark Souls games, and you know, I absolutely like this game quite a lot, so I'm nothing against that. But a lot of the mechanics are Dark Souls like. We've got the bonfires, we've got the Estus upgrades, the way you get or lose your souls or haze or whatever you want to call them. All that's exactly the same, plus multiple little other things. But apart from that, there are a lot of new mechanics, which I definitely like. Now, one of the things I didn't like about this game, probably the more noticeable things that I didn't like about this game, one of them is the environment. You can pretty much tell this from the start. I mean, I'm not saying like even Dark Souls and Bloodborne, I can see what they did. Like at the start you think it's all going to be the same, but then it drastically changes. I think this game does try and do the same thing, but the environments are a bit boring, especially the first ones. But they never, like, there's one or two areas that really are cool to look at and just cool to, I mean, I'm not talking about exploration, I'm just saying like what they actually look at visually. There's a few places that do change. I'm probably not going to include them in the video in the background just because of spoiler warnings. They're quite late game areas. But yeah, visually they're not that stunning, the environments, and can be a bit boring and repetitive. The good thing, however, is the exploration. I absolutely love the exploration, and again, this kind of does remind me of Dark Souls exploration, the typical time where you can maybe see an item from the very start of the like area, and you're like, I wonder how I can get that. They always try and give you like a little clue, like so you know that it's there, but you've got to find a way to get that. You can maybe see it off in the background, and you've got to find how to get there, and that's like very Dark Souls like exploration, and I did absolutely love the exploration. This is kind of what made me do a 100% exploration guide on my other channel. I really do like the exploration in this game. It is absolutely really well done. Something else I did really like about the exploration aspect on this game is that the game actually wants you to explore, because if you want the good endings, you actually do have to find certain items scattered around the map, which will then activate the secret ending. So it's definitely a game that wants you to explore, and that's always a good thing. Something else that I didn't really like are the enemies. I'm not saying that they're like attack pattern or anything like that. Gameplay mechanic wise is pretty good again, but they can get a bit repetitive. Some of the enemies, like you can see from the first area, and they're still running around in like the very final areas. So it's just the type of enemies in the game. There's not that many. I mean, there's not like that little, but you can basically see the same type of enemies sometimes all the way through the games. And maybe there's like only one or two new types of enemies per area. The bosses, on the other hand, are really cool, really unique. I did pretty much enjoy all of the boss fights, and no complaint there. Now, as far as the combat goes, obviously combat is probably the main part about these games, apart from exploration and stuff like that. The combat is good in this game. It's definitely a lot of fun. Like if I had to describe it with one word, it is fun. I can definitely, in my opinion, I know a lot of people are probably going to hate me for saying this, this game feels like it's kind of designed for playing with a companion. Like if you play the game normally, you're always going to have a companion. If you generally want to play the game without a companion, you actually have to kind of not go out of your way, but you have to like actually select the option. It's basically the default is you're always going to have a companion, and I can definitely see why this game feels like it's definitely designed to have a companion. Some of the attacks later game definitely like insta-kill you, and it's not, I think like it's not as refined as Dark Souls. Like I have definitely played this game solo, and it is definitely tough and it's a nice challenge, but because the combat isn't quite as refined, maybe the way the movement works, the dodging, the hitboxes, they're not quite as refined as Dark Souls, and that's what makes it feel like it's more designed to be played with a companion. I mean, like I said before, the game will always give you a companion unless you say otherwise and go out of your kind of way to get rid of that companion, since he can revive you every now and then. And I mean, like, it's definitely something where if you practice enough and you put in the time, I'm sure you can do this game like just like a Dark Souls game solo. But I just felt like it was definitely designed to have a companion. And like I said, like, it's not the easiest game in the world even with a companion. There was a few bosses that did give me a bit of trouble, especially when I was still getting used to the game. But I just feel that my personal opinion is that the game is definitely designed to be played with a companion. Now, there is a nice number of classes, weapon classes and stuff like that on this game for combat customization. So you basically have a class which is called a blood code in this game. You can unlock tons of them as you play through the game, collecting certain items. And the cool thing is that you can like change the blood code you want on the fly. So maybe some blood code will allow you to wield a strength weapon, and that class will scale better with strength or give you more strength, so stuff like that. And you can change that on the fly if you get bored of it. You don't have to go and talk to an NPC. And also each blood code will have special abilities named gifts, which are basically your spells or actives or passives. And the cool thing is, if you use them enough, you will unlock them for the other blood codes. So you may have to play a few blood codes and then make like your ultimate blood code just by combining a load of gifts that you've learned from other classes. And I think that's definitely really cool. It gives a lot of like unique classes being able to combine like the tons and tons of blood codes that are on this game. You obviously won't be able to use every gift on every class, because maybe one of the gifts require A on strength, but the blood core that you're using or the blood class doesn't give you A on strength, so you can't use it. But there's definitely a lot of customization as far as that goes. Talking about customization, the character creator is one of the best I've seen in a game. Like, it is really generally really good. You can even have like multiple layers of hairstyles. You can have multiple layers of like accessories. You can combine as much as you want. It's kind of a shame that you have to have a gas mask on most of the game and basically an outfit or a blood veil on top of it, because you can't see some of your creation most of the way through the game. But the character creation is really good. Now, the biggest difference from most Souls-based games is that there's actually a story. This is like a very anime kind of story, I guess. I enjoyed it quite a lot, and it has a really nice kind of little twist at the end. I don't really want to spoil anything, but I really did enjoy the story to the end. There's a load of cutscenes. There's a ton of secondary memories and cutscenes if you're willing to explore and pick up all the memories, and I definitely recommend it. It's quite an emotional game as well. The length is, again, very Souls-like. If you, the first time through, you're going to take all time, but once you learn all the areas and know where you're going and whatever, your second playthrough is probably not going to be that long. So yeah, I haven't really got much more to say. The audio is pretty nice. The music's kind of a bit weird sometimes, but I kind of like it. The music back at the home base is pretty cool as well. And yeah, in general, I really did enjoy this game. So from me, it's going to be an 8 out of 10. And yeah, Code Vein is now available on PS4, PC, and Xbox One. So yeah, guys, hopefully this review is helpful. If it was, please go like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time, guys. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please consider supporting me over on Patreon. This will allow me to get more games and produce more videos. Thanks ever so much for the support. Take care, guys.